Welcome back. I was just flipping through. So I just finished the 12th episode of the ABC show, and I just looked at this article that I had lined up. I just kind of felt, well, my throat still hurts, but I just thought, well, this is an awfully relevant article to what I was talking about earlier, and I thought I might as well just touch on it since we're here. Um, so here's an article from People Magazine. Gossip rag. Fucking, I normally don't read through this, but I saw it on my newsfeed, and it was quite strongly relevant to the Nashville shooter, if you will. And I just thought this is just another weird article. So let's get straight into it. Flight attendant who shared her transition journey in United video dead after posting emotional final message. Kaylee Scott of Denver, Colorado, starred in an United Airlines video in 2020 where she shared her story as a transgender woman, by Jason Hahn, published March 23rd. A United Airlines flight attendant who had previously shared her story as a transgender woman in a video for the company has died after posting an emotional note to her social media channels. Wacky. In her posts to her Instagram and Facebook page on Monday morning, Kaylee Scott of Denver penned a heartbreaking letter to her friends and family, asked them to remember, quote, the good memories we have shared. Quote, as I take my final breaths and exit this living earth, I would like to apologize to everyone I let down. Scott wrote, I am so sorry I could not be better. To those that I love, I am sorry I could not be stronger. To those that gave me everything, I am sorry my effort was not reciprocated. She continued, please understand that me leaving is not a reflection on you, but a result of my inability to turn myself for the better. After naming a few of her loved ones, Scott apologized and said, I will see you again on the other side. Later that day, Scott's mother, Andrea Silvestro, confirmed her daughter died after posting the letter. Kaylee Scott, I am so unbelievably proud to have you as my daughter, proud and amazed by everything that you have done in your life. Your smile was absolutely beautiful, your laughter was unbelievably contagious, your heart was bigger than any of us could have ever understood, Silvestro wrote on Facebook. So, related articles, very suggestive of what's going on here. Duh. Quote, I miss you so much already, everything that you have been through. Every morning you wake up and looked in that mirror. I hope you saw what we saw, a beautiful, eloquent, compassionate, courageous, beautiful soul. I love you so much, so much, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, she added in part. Fly high, my beautiful daughter. I will not let a day go by that I do not honor your name and everything you stood for. People contacted the Denver police and of the medical examiner and the Denver Police Department for more information. Suicide, crisis line, disclaimer, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, in a statement to People, United Airlines representatives said that they were, quote, saddened by the tragic loss of Kaylee Scott and extend our deepest condolences to her family, friends, and coworkers. In 2020, Scott starred in a video for United where she opened up about her transitioning and felt her peers at the company supported her. Quote, this is a story that I know is so important for me to continue sharing, she said in the video. Not for me, but for those who are still fighting social norms, the boundaries set upon them, and fighting themselves. The company did not confirm if Scott was still employed at the company at the time of her death when they asked People. Scott previously spoke out about when she realized she was transgender in an interview with, quote, something's coming up. Quote, growing up living as a boy in my early life, I started to figure out things were different. These clothes didn't feel right. These toys didn't feel right, she recalled. I was about 9 when I started to realize that. I don't think I'm a boy. But in her teens, Scott said bullying affected her mental health to the point where she considered taking her own life. The bullying, the hiding who I was, and not addressing it all built up, she said, and it got to a point where I couldn't hold on any longer. In 2021, Scott wrote on Facebook about her progress since publicly coming out as transgender. Quote, 2 years ago I came out and made my transition public, she wrote. It is remarkable to reflect on the past 2 years and see how much I've grown emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Despite the challenges I faced along the way, I have managed to stand taller and continue fighting for myself and everyone out there who does not have the privilege to use their own voice. Here is to being unapologetically me. #BeCounted. So, okay, before I say any more, let's go watch the video. Hold on. Okay.
Don't let that smirk fool you. There was so much pain behind that sweet boy's eyes. I don't normally post about my transition here on my feed, let alone it's a rare sight on my stories. I used to be so embarrassed about being trans, and all I wanted was to blend in and be cis. But times have changed, and I've started looking back at the bigger picture and understanding I do have a story to tell. This story comes after a huge pep talk from one of my biggest motivators, love. This is a story that I know is so important for me to continue sharing. Not for me, but for those out there who are still fighting social norms, the boundaries set upon them, fighting themselves. Gay, lesbian, bi, trans, pan, whatever and whoever you identify as, come out, be counted. My life changed for the better when I came to United as a flight attendant. With the support from the company, our business resource group for LGBTQ+ employees, and all of my loving coworkers, I was able to break free from the chains that held me. And to this day, I'm living confidently as my true self. I was able to glow up and let go of the past. So here's to all the pain that Kyle went through, so that Kaylee could live today. I am trans, and I am proud.
So, okay. So I guess I'll put some counterbalance to like my argumentative style from the last.
Ladies and gentlemen, top the evening to you. Thank you for coming out and joining this evening over to Iceland.
Oh, okay. Sorry about the autoplay. So let me put some counterbalance to what I was arguing on the last show. Or I'm sorry, the last installment of, I guess, tranny news at this point. So looking through this article, I mean, I know people normally they go on this fucking honestly cringy memorial post on social media just to like if my child died, what the fuck's the point of posting it on Facebook? Like, what do I get out of that? Do I fish for likes? You know, I understand it's like, oh, it's an expression, it's catharsis, it's a release of all of the grief and tension and pain within. Well, what do I get out of it? Like, if I really, like, if I had a child, and that child died, and I wanted to memorialize my child, I personally would make artwork. I would draw illustrations of my dying child, and then just probably like draw that over my fucking tears. Because what else is a really productive means of cherishing the loss of the genuine loss of someone who you truly love? I would do artwork. That's the way I'd do it. And then every other aspect of my life, I would just move on. Because what the fuck else can I do? My beloved child, or family member, or romantic partner, whoever it is dead. Why do I need to post on Facebook about it? So, and again, I know it's common practice, but every time I see someone posting on Facebook about how someone they love is dead, or their fucking dog died, why are you posting on Facebook? That's just kind of weird to me. Just me, maybe it's just my own humble opinion that no one gave a fuck or asked to hear about. But yeah, that's just my first thought. My second thought is that, okay, United is obviously a very big airline, lots of money. They're in every airport in the United States. They make flights internationally. They're a pretty big business. Like any big business, especially in the United States, they are probably keen to get some ESG money. what better way is there to earn ESG money by checking the feminist box, but also the transgender box by featuring this lovely Kaylee lady in your video. Look at us. Look how socially virtuous we are. Look how much we are exercising social governance by praising our transgender star flight attendant. So, and plus, like, Kaylee is, if you don't look at her too closely, she could probably fool you, right? She could probably fool you that she's cis. She's got the hair. She's got nice eyes. I mean, shit. I wish I could look that good, right? But of course, like, where the illusion falls apart is whenever, like, she wears a scarf to hide the extra width in her neck. Which, I mean, there's cis women that have a build that kind of can look like that. So, the word is passing. So, Kaylee kind of passes, you could say, right? So, well, what other reasons would legitimately convince this Kaylee person to kill her or himself if you insist? She's okay looking. There's been worse. You know, you really have to like squint at her to figure out that she's actually not biologically female. It's not the worst life. So what would drive such a suicide? Insecurity? Infertility? I guess maybe there's other factors at play. Of course. Some people who they just own being trans, fatter, uglier transgender people have been happier in their lives. So that still doesn't quite answer the question what's going on. Okay. So let's look at it. Let's zoom out and look again. ESG money, United. Otherwise, why would they give a shit? It's just a transgender flight attendant that probably some people missed. Some people probably didn't notice that this was actually born a man. To be in all factuality, right? So, what percentage of people would really care either? Like, okay, a flight attendant, your job is to just babysit the passengers and tell them, hey, sit down. You're not supposed to reach into the overhead compartment during the flight. And, I don't know, sell snacks, sell drinks, and then the plane lands, the passengers get up and fuck off, right? How many people are really going to pay that much attention? You'd be surprised how little. Because they're busy playing on their phones, they're busy reading the newspaper, busy, I don't know, fucking, for all I know, masturbating under the fold down table in the back seat of airplanes. Who the fuck knows, right? So, bullying, yeah. Bullying can be subtle. It's kind of up to you to let it affect you. I understand it's a lot harder to control that emotion as a child, but again, as you grow into adulthood, it becomes way easier. Something's really fishy about this. That's all I got to say. The fact that there's an article about it, the fact that the parents look how romantically written the suicide letter is. It's publicized too. So why is it that when one transgender person dies, the manifesto is hidden? But in this instance, the manifesto of Kaylee's quote-unquote suicide is publicized. That's kind of weird if you ask me. I don't know about you, but my vegan senses are my fake vegan senses are tingling. I think that Kaylee killed herself, and the People magazine and United both want that ESG money. So they spin this They talk about how this is they try to make it as grand as possible without actually stating that it's a suicide, which is also weird. Why not? It's pretty. The implication that these people want me to make is that it's a suicide because transphobia or whatever the fuck the narrative is, right? So I just think this is weird, and that's my theory. I think it's that they're just never letting a crisis go into waste. Let me know what you think. I really love to hear from you what's going on here, and maybe if something bigger is afoot. Definitely something to do with ESG. Definitely something to do with like the recent phenomena of transgender homicide, suicide, and violence, and overall unhappy times. And I'm trying to piece something together with the little gray matter that I have. And I would like your help as my dear viewer. So, actually, you know what? Since man, today's just tranny day. There's just more transgender news. We can touch on this real quick. So, after you give me your feedback regarding that first article about the United flight attendant, let's go look at this real quick. Track organizers ban transgender women from elite competitions. So I don't know what level of athletic competition this is, but I guess we'll find out. Written by ESPN News Services. No single author. Interesting. March 23rd. World Athletics has banned transgender women from competing in elite female competitions if they have gone through male puberty, the sport's governing body said Thursday. Organization President Sebastian Coe said at a news conference that the decision by the World Athletics Council is to exclude transgender women. That was based on, quote, the overreaching need to protect the female category. Coe added that World Athletics would form a task force to study transgender inclusion that would be chaired by a transgender athlete. Also on Thursday, World Athletics voted to end its 8-year doping ban for the Russian Athletics Federation, but the country's athletes and those of Belarus will maintain excluded from the international competition because of an ongoing separate ban over the invasion of Ukraine. The World Athletics Council kept its ban on Russian athletes and international events in place quote, for the foreseeable future, unquote, a move that goes against the International Olympic Committee's efforts to find a way for Russian athletes to compete as neutrals in upcoming events. The council also voted to tighten restrictions on athletes with differences in sex development, cutting the maximum amount of plasma testosterone for athletes in half to 2.5 nanomoles per liter. The tighter testosterone rules will affect athletes such as two-time Olympic 800-meter champion Caster Semenya. Let's get some visual context going here. Okay, so Caster Semenya, interesting character to say the least. Male or female? Well, that's a very good question. Christine Mboma, the reigning silver medalist in 200 meters, and Francine Ninyonsaba, who finished runner-up to Semenya at the 800 in the 2016 Olympics. So, why are these all... hard to say. I don't know. That bulge there looks a little suspicious. I don't know. This one's clockable. I mean, there's manlier looking girls on women's track and field. Is this one trans? I don't know. Like, where do you draw the line? Well, I guess the neck and the face look at it a little bit compared to like Miss Thomas here or whatever. Yeah, kind of like the eyebrow arches. Yeah, the eyebrows. So Mboma has some more prevalent eyebrow arch right there. Yeah. Yeah, probably. Mad sus. Mad sus. So yeah, the musculature of like Moboma's legs is considerably leaner compared to like the female competitors. That if not transgender, probably a bit high in testosterone to say the least, or at least testosterone-genic developments. I don't know it's kind of like I guess I can only see it in the skin. It's like this one's clearly female, but geez, that's. I don't even know anymore, man. Like fuck. Anyway, so and Francine Nyon Saba. Neon Saba. So a lot of African people competing, obviously. I don't know. I've seen some pretty manly looking cis women. I don't even. Again, how can you even tell that? Well, I don't know. There's, as you can tell, there's a very wide distribution of secondary sex characteristics, even within either sex. Like, fuck. Beyond me, I guess. I admit defeat. Who finished runner up to Semenya at the 800 and 2016 Olympics. World Aquatic Swimming Women World's governing body were voted in June with 71% of the national federations to favor to bar transgender women from elite competition if they had experienced any part of a male puberty. A scientific panel had found that even after reducing testosterone levels through medication, transgender women still had a significant advantage. World Athletics regulations around differences in sex development had previously required women in competing in events between 400 meters and a mile to maintain testosterone levels below 5 nanomoles per liter. At the Tokyo Olympics, South Africa's Semenya and Burundi's Nyon Saba were both barred from the 800 meters and turned their attention to the 5,000. Semenya failed to qualify for the games, while Nyon Saba made the final before being disqualified for lane violation. Nambia's Mboma, prevented from running the 400 meters, switched to the 200 meters and won silver. To compete at the 2024 Paris Olympics, these athletes had to undergo hormone-suppressing treatment for 6 months. Semenya has said she will never go through that treatment again, having done so a decade ago under previous rules. Russia's ban began in late 2015 after discovery of a massive state-sponsored doping and related cover-ups. A suspension remained in place following a procedure to meaningfully address the issue. However, Rune Anderson, head of World Athletics Russia Task Force, reported that he was finally satisfied with the, quote, new culture of good governance and zero tolerance for doping throughout the organization. An independent audit team confirms that the Rus AF has met all the detailed KPIs and other requirements set out in the reinstatement plan, Anderson said in a news conference. I advised council today that those conditions have now been met. Rus AF has expected and accepted and detailed Rus AF has accepted a detailed set of post-reinstatement conditions designed to ensure that there is no backsliding from the significant progress. Anderson warned that he was unsure whether the change in approach would be permanent and recommended the suspension be imposed again in the case of any failure to meet the reinstatement conditions. And okay, blah, blah, blah. Why is this fucking talking about Russia? I don't get it. Anyway, so yeah, you've seen these stunning and brave transgender athletes. And once again, we're going back to the old parable. So if you believe men and women are equal, then the obvious response is that, okay, let's put them both on into sports, watch them compete against each other, and I guess that we'll see who comes out on top. If when men and women are equal, then why do you have an issue with this competition? Oh wait, men and women aren't equal? Okay, then I guess we'll segregate sports again. And another thing you must know, it's so fucking childish, I know. And the other thing you must notice here, take a look at the people that they're criticizing. Whether it's like that, what not Rachel Maddow. It was Rachel something, which this news article here that's about almost a year old, talking about International Cycling Union, the Union Cycliste Internationale, which basically the highest level governing body of competitive cycling, is making the same argument here, is that the physiological developments of male puberty grants athletes regardless of whatever gender they claim to be, a indefeatable athletic advantage. Now, the in how should I slice this? Given the important role played by muscle strength and power in cycling performance, the UCI has decided to increase the transition period for low testosterone from 12 to 24 months. This value corresponds with the maximum testosterone level found in 99.99% of the female population. And the UCI added that this adjustment is, quote, intended to promote the integration of transgender athletes into the competitive sport while maintaining fairness, equal opportunity, and safety competitions. This rule will go into effect by July 1st. So, let me think. What was it? So there's I guess the most famous example would be like this track cycling. This transgender woman competed against female competitors in a track cycling race. I forgot what kind of race specifically. Rachel something. So quotes must include, and this, by the way, if you're searching something, add quotes. It's a request to say must include Rachel UCI track cycling transgender. So Rachel McKinnon, that's correct. Rachel McKinnon. Everyone got up in a fucking tizzy about Rachel McKinnon beating these ugly turf hags. Actually, I take that back. I mean, that's well, nice legs. So, wow, she homegirl here got something going on her top half. But in any case, yeah, like so it. What kind of race is this? Women's 35-44 sprint, so track sprinting. Okay, well, sprinting. Okay, for those cycling illiterate. Okay, so a sprint race. Cycling in pretty much every single, whether it's a 200 meter like one lap sprint, Olympic style track sprint, or it's a 6-hour race, or a 12-hour fucking ultra endurance race. Aerobic fitness wins overall. And in the specific example of cycling, since obviously I know more about this than, I don't know, fucking maybe track running, which is also a very cardiovascularly dependent sport. The let me find a chart real quick. FTP chart, men versus women. So where's that good chart that organizes FTPs based on level of aptitude? I can't find it. God damn it. Cycling power to weight ratio. Okay, this is a good chart. All right. No. Okay, so you look at this chart here. So here is a chart which is the functional measurement of functional threshold power based on time intervals. So what this means is a power to weight ratio. So just like a car or a motorcycle, the amount of power is rotation is torque, force times speed. So in terms of a motor, it is torque of the rotational arm, the rotational crank in an engine or on the cranks on a bicycle, times the speed at which it rotates in revolutions per minute. So the amount, for the most part, it's literally horsepower in a different unit divided by body weight. So this is a good calculation of how fast you can make it up a hill or how quickly you can accelerate from a dead stop. This does not include aerodynamics, but just, again, purely a calculation of weight, power divided by weight, power to weight ratio. So this is kind of like, again, measuring horsepower in a sports car, right? So you measure the power of the racers around you, and that's how you kind of get a feeling about what level of your competition you're going up against. Now, let's take a look at this. I haven't plotted all these points out on a graph, but if I recall correctly, so maximal power output, let's say for a 5 second all-out effort. Men, the world class, I guess world record holder, world champion is probably around this ratio level right here, the very top row. World's fastest man can crank out 24 watts per kilo for 5 seconds. World's fastest women, 19.42. So let me get my calculator out just to confirm. Come on. Okay, 24.04 divided by 19.42. So that's it's about a 23% advantage if you calculate it top down. So let's try 19.42 divided by 24.04. Just in case I get this wrong, because I kind of suck at math actually. So it's 20 to 23% advantage, right? So 20 to 23%. What does this mean? So okay, let's say 19.42. Who else scores at 19? Okay, a Cat 1. Let's say a Cat 1 male cyclist can be at the same level as a world champion woman. So this is why, I don't know if any of you done cycling, but cycling is one of the weird sports where you could actually do co-ed competition. A woman who has trained longer than you have will probably fucking leave you in the dust as a lesser trained male. But at the same time, if you normalize for genetic factors, lifestyle factors, training time, etc., a man and a woman of the same level of training and acumen would probably be a 20 to 23% gap in terms of power to weight, given power to weight is an accurate measurement of cycling performance. Since the cycling is mostly, again, an aerobic, cardiovascularly intensive, cardiovascular-focused endurance sport, running, track is probably somewhat similar. 20% advantage? Yeah, that's a pretty big gap to close in competition. But if Rachel McKinnon was such a slouch in training, so much to the degree that Rachel would lose to the cis female competitors, no one will be fucking talking about this. Nobody. They only complain if you win. And they only complain, and if Rachel McKinnon was actually born female, a cis woman, what would happen is that second and third place would look at McKinnon and say, well, she must be doping. How the fuck did she win? Jeez. I was so close. I just had that. I was so fucking close in that chase. I almost made it to the finish line, and fucking Rachel just sore loser dumb. I mean, if I were in that position, I would just take second place and shut the fuck up. Like, if I were one of these two women and I saw that, okay, well, Rachel McKinnon is clearly biological male. Look how much more lung space that, quote unquote, she has. Forgive yourself. You literally did everything you could. And if you get beat, well, McKinnon apparently has an unfair advantage over you. Or maybe you could tell yourself that. Or maybe McKinnon actually trained harder, in addition to the physiological advantages of going through male puberty. So let's integrate this laterally back into these questionably female track athletes, right? So same thing going on here. So the athletes of question are usually high ranking winners. So within every single one of these races, I mean, again, look at all the track athletes. I mean, this one's pretty clockable as female, but some of them look like guys. Like, let's just fucking face it, man. I don't know about you. Like, look, sports. I don't know if any of you motherfuckers actually ever got off of a couch and competed athletically. Sports, especially at the professional level, gets pretty cutthroat. Everyone's on painkillers. Everyone's just on some kind of juice. Everyone's trying to get the edge over the other, because not only is it like just a competition ego thing, it's like professional athletes by definition, that's their livelihood. Their ability to win competitions or at least score somewhere on the podium could mean the difference between like taking home money and going home broke. So yeah, do not underestimate the amount of cheating professional athletes will go to protect their bottom line. I mean, I've competed. I've seen some shady stuff. I'm not telling you what level I've competed at in cycling, but yeah, cycling's just like any other sport. People cheat. People want to win. And in some cases, like if you don't juice up, you're not winning because the next guy is. It's like that. It's nasty. So I really don't know what to tell. I mean, I don't know what to tell people who are complaining. Like, okay, so I guess let's hit it with some politics, right? So the conservatives are going to be like, oh, well, men are men and women are women, which is just like it's just like this pathetic slogan at this point. Like people are clearly forgetting what that even means anymore, let alone giving a shit about it. You can beat your chest about like men and women and women are women, but at some point you're going to have to admit, okay, either A, men and women are equal, transgender athletes are cleared to compete against female at birth competitors and kick their ass, and you'll just have to live with, equal fights and equal rights. Or you admit that men and women are not equal, and men tend to beat women in sports, and that's why you need to keep biological males outside of female sports. But then you must insult all the feminists and probably the TERFs and probably your wife by insisting that, okay, men and women are not equal. So then you kick them out of sports, and then they start suing you, and then you start to lose your ESG money, and then that usually is the fire under your ass as a sports regulatory bureaucrat to change your mind and then say, okay, well, you know what, men and women are equal, let's bring the transgenders back in there. And then they win again. People complain, they're unfair, so then the regulatory bodies are basically stuck between a transgender dick and a hard place. Like, where do they go? They back up, they get fucked by the tranny dick. They move forward, their own dicks hit a rock. Like, you're just kind of stuck in, like, between gay and gay, or gay and painful. So, honestly, at this point, I kind of feel bad for the fucking regulatory bureaucrats. Like, you're just dodging lawsuits from every angle. Like, what the fuck do you even do at that point? I would quit. I could have job, like, fuck it. This kind of stupid shit is just. I don't know. I love it. I love this shit. I don't. Fucking cry about boys beating you in sports. Like, I don't. Oh my god. Take your rag and fucking wipe your tears. I mean, equal fights, equal rights. I'm all about gender equality at this point. Fuck them. Oh man. Oh Jesus. This week is just nothing but tranny news. What a polarizing topic. I love it. I just love it. This is just so much entertainment. Man. Oh, jeez. Ah, that's so funny. Anyway, yeah. Once again, share your thoughts. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if you think I'm just a shill for the transgender movement, which I'm totally not. Um, I just think this is just a shakeup that society really needs, and it's it's exactly what I mean. Science wins in the end, and sometimes, no matter what, science is not loyal to your agenda, whatever the fuck you're trying to push. And as always, Lord Darwin has told us the organism that is most adaptable has the best chance of survival. The environment is always changing. It is chaotic. It is confusing. It is sometimes contradictory. And it is your job as an intelligent organism to see the environment and adapt to it. However, by any means possible. Unless you just don't care about your survival, then you're just waiting for death. I mean, that's your call. But regardless, I can't get enough. I'm gonna do this more because it's just brilliant. It's just hilarious. Especially someone who I guess has enough brain power to make sense of it. You know, I know. I'm spraining myself with that flex. Humble brag. Totally humble brag at this point. I'm able to see light out of it. It's fun. I'm not threatened by trannies beating me in competition whenever I go to my level of racing. And if that's the case, I mean, well, I guess if I compete as a male, then usually the females becoming males, female to male transgender competitors, they don't. It's pretty slim chance that they're going to beat their biological male competitors who are at the same level, who are at the same level of training and career, etc. So that's why you don't hear anyone complaining about male to female transgenders competing with male peers in sports. So why is that? Oh, right. People don't complain until it's their ass that's being beat, until they take second place. Because remember, everyone wants gold, and if you're in third place, you're just like, no, I wouldn't have gotten first anyway. I'm happy to be silver, but I'm happy to be bronze. But you get the silver medal. Silver medal sometimes is unhappiest because they knew they had a chance of being first, and they wouldn't have held the expectation of getting first if they were third. So that's why second medal is always saltiest. Or second place or silver medal is always saltiest. So, oh man. Oh, this world is just full of fascinating shit. Yeah. Like people are gonna be they're gonna lie. They're gonna be stupid. Come into look at reality with that expectation. And then you will see the beauty of it. And then you'll laugh at it like I am. I know. Transgenderism is very confusing. It's probably meant to be confusing. It's meant to confuse people who are low information or too fucking lazy to figure out how it works. Adjust your expectations. Anticipate the move of your opponents, your allies, and your enemies. So, and I guess I'm here to walk you through it because it seems like I've got it figured out, and other people are just like, oh, men are women. Shut the fuck up. We know that, and nobody cares. Anyway, thanks for popping in, for viewing this broken up Mod Podge joke of a stream that I put on this weekend. I appreciate your patronage, and I guess once again I will see you next week. Bye bye.